poof, my video went. All right, so I was speaking about relationships. But essentially, I really just wanted to bring it back to what is coming up to the surface for so many in the collective is if you haven't been doing the healing work, if you have not been confronting your shadow, your deepest, darkest secrets, fears, your embarrassments, your shame, your guilt, if you don't actually own those, if you don't just bring them out of the closets, out of the trunk, if you don't bring them back and we're meant to integrate every part of ourselves. We're not meant to take and pick away the parts we dislike because we are a whole being. We have this presence of essence. We are human beings, not parts of a human. Just like, unfortunately, I like to think of whenever you go to the doctor, why are there so many doctors that are disconnected from the whole body, that they're specialized in only the one part of your body? It's the same thing with humans. We can't just, the arm doesn't operate on its own. It has this whole amazing system that makes it function. And so we have to be willing to face every piece of our beingness, what we've done, what we've thought, what we've felt, what we've experienced. It is part of the whole. Otherwise, that's the disconnect. That is where people numb out. That is where addiction comes in. When we have been traumatized and we don't work on healing that trauma, it's unresolved, it continues to be carried along through the course of our life. It's like carrying that baggage. You wonder why. Oh, why do I have this density, this heaviness on me? It's because we're carrying things that don't necessarily belong to us. Energy is meant to stay in motion. That's what emotions are, energy and motion. They're meant to continually flow through like water, fluidly, energetically. They're not meant to be held onto, and that's where dis-ease comes from. It gets lodged in our body, and that's the disconnect from the mind and the body. So when something is not aligned with our true nature, our true soul, the body will tell you. If you have a thought, and you think that thought, and if you pay attention to your body, you're going to have pain in your body to resist, to resemble. It's going to say, I don't agree with that. It doesn't resonate here. I feel pain. You're inflicting, see, this is what the yogis talked about, ahimsa. When you have a misaligned thought, a harmful thought, you're inflicting pain on yourself, and you don't realize that just a thought alone can be harmful to the physical body, but that is how we have manifested so much dis-ease. The disconnect from the body and the mind is that we're not recognizing how we manifest, how we create, what we anticipate we create. We are such powerful beings that when we want to create a story in our favor or against us, we can do either or. That's the duality. That's the irony, this polarity of life. The game of life is, what are you going to choose? We know what we've been conditioned to look for the worst, right? Why not look for the best? Why not focus on your blessings instead of your self-imposed restrictions and what you consider to be, oh, it just is what it is, in that nonsense way of saying it, that I've got resentment tone. It is what it is, like animosity, passive aggressive. The truth is, it's all serving. It's just, are you navigating it? Are you dancing with the energy, or are you resisting it and it's persisting, and so therefore you're creating more of it? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're pushing against something, you're giving it more energy. But if you can learn to dance with it and go, oh, wait a minute, if I move this way, it's not so bad. If I move that way, it's not so bad. That's how we're supposed to navigate life, like this divine dance. And to laugh, the divine comedy is it's always going to throw you something to chuckle about if you can catch the cosmic giggle, if you can pay attention to the lessons and the blessings of the circumstances and experiences that you go through, because this is what life is about. So life is going to poke and provoke you. It's going to try to shake you up and wake you up, as I was saying before. It really is about how tuned in are you to your own energy, to your own physical body, your body's wisdom. Can you tap into your body's wisdom? Breathe. That's the first way you're going to become present. Breathe in long, slow, and deep, fully. Because when you breathe in, that's your essence. The presence of your essence is the breath, is the spirit of life. You're taking in the spirit of God. And then when you exhale, you're releasing old energy, stagnant. Then you're bringing in more new, fresh oxygen. And then exhaling out anything that needs to go. And if you can bring yourself into the moment long enough to go, I'm inhaling to cleanse, to replenish. I'm exhaling to release any stagnation, whatever is no longer serving me. Inhale the fresh. Exhale the excess, what's no longer serving. You know, we hold on, we hoard a lot as humans because somehow we're fearful of letting go. Sometimes we don't know how to loosen up. And that really starts in the body. And then when we get the body moving, the mind starts to loosen up. That's why the only way through to the mind is through the body. Otherwise, trying to work with the mind from the same level of thinking that created all the problems ain't gonna happen. That's why this is a whole mind, body, spirit, and soul connection. The more you can tap into your body's wisdom, you're gonna start to notice there's pain that's been lodged in this body for a long time. I've been holding on to some crap and it doesn't align. Because the body is always gonna tell you, that's not true. We know it's not true here, but you're still holding on to the belief, and that's the addiction and attachment to something that doesn't serve you. So the more you can really recognize something's not right because I'm feeling tension, I'm feeling angst, I'm feeling constricted, restricted in my physical body, wherever you feel it. Can you tap into it? Can you lean into it and go, okay, body, talk to me. And things will drop in. The more present you become, the more present you are to your breath and your body and your feelings and the sensations, and you listen. That's what meditation is. Prayer is asking. Meditation is listening. And it's single-minded focus. So bringing yourself to the moment, able to just receive. What is this trying to tell me in this moment? What is my body trying to communicate that my mind can't see? Because the body knows better than the mind. Just like when we do physical exercises and the mind immediately goes into a story, tells you all about your limitations. And even the body's like, okay, I don't agree, but okay. So it's like, what do you really want the truth to be? Do you want to fight for your limitations? Or are you willing to extend yourself, go outside of your boundaries, because boundaries are caging yourself in? Set a higher standard for yourself. Value yourself more. You are worth it. You are worthy. You are created in the highest image of Source, God. That we are all amazing. We are all meant to serve in this amazing role that we individually came here to be serving in. So nobody's any better or any worse, and nobody's any higher or any lower. We're all equal, but from different perspectives, from different aspects, from, you know, the different shapes and forms. But again, we're putting the puzzles of this life together, because life is a game, and once you learn the rules that are unspoken, not the man-made rules, but once you realize there's a way to navigate. There's a way to move, to flow. Nature nurtures the true natural order within you, not from outside of you. It's something that innately you have to tap into, your intuition, coming through the five senses, which is transformation, which is all about how do you nurture and nourish your being. So I was saying earlier that when we look into these devices, when we're on technology, we are feeding ourselves what we see, what we hear, sometimes it invokes smells and memories and tastes and touch. So you have to be aware that we are still being programmed through what we focus our attention on. So you have to be very mindful of where your attention is going and flowing, because that's creating your reality. Maybe you follow a particular story or TV series. Like back in the day, people used to watch soap operas. I know I watched a bunch of that stuff. And you get really involved in these people's lives that were not real. Like they were real people, and you'd have conversations with people who also watched the same series or TV shows or these movies. And you get so emotionally charged by it. And just sports teams, same thing. Your energy helps keep things alive, helps them grow. And that's in your own life. So if you're so heavily invested in somebody else, you're actually empowering them and disempowering yourself, as if they're more important. But the truth is you are equally as important. And until you own that and claim that, your life will continue to follow where your focus is, as opposed to you creating the story you want to live. Because where your focus goes can also become your empowerment. But you have to be willing to change your behaviors, which don't happen overnight. Because change only comes from stepping outside of the familiar and really challenging ourselves. Sometimes we want to be in comfortable settings and environments, but that's not always going to serve us. It can often be the impediment to our success or our growth or our evolution. And we want more in this life. So notice, where in your life do you feel limited? Is it a belief? Is it a story you keep telling yourself? Or is it just that you're unwilling to allow yourself to step outside of your own confines, your own limitations? So I started to tell a story about my dad. So I had this dream I woke up from this morning. And in the dream, I think we were in a vehicle with my dad driving and my sister and family members, my sister's family. And I threw a spoon because it was really just upset. I don't know why. There's something symbolic with a spoon. So I threw a spoon to get his attention because, like I was saying, when I was a child, that's always been my thing. I have to move my physical body to discharge stuck, angry energy, frustration, whatever it is. I know I need to move my body. That's how I am. It's not about lashing out at anybody. But often what is stuck in here needs to get out. It needs to be shaken up and shifted. Because if the energy is stuck and there's any type of explosive energy coming out of you, then it can end up inflicting harm on another. It's already inflicting harm on yourself. You don't want to focus your anger, frustrations, or anything toward anybody else. You really just want to discharge it and get out in nature, or to shake it out, to shift it out, to move your body. So I'm saying that in this dream, I got upset with my father, and I'm the kind of person I get upset with myself. And so therefore, I don't want to see other people suffer. And as my life had unfolded with so many different epiphanies, I wanted to help others see what I had so much trouble with. And I didn't want to see anybody suffer the way I suffered. So it was like, can't you see that the more you're talking about other people, you're harming yourself? This was what I was upset with about my dad. You're focusing so much attention on other people when you yourself are worthy. I understand that when you talk about another person, that's because you don't feel you're good enough. That I was upset that my father in the dream, and this is collective because this is a collective consciousness. This is a huge theme in humanity, that we think others are so much more important than us, or that they have more than us. So we compare ourselves and we don't even realize we're judging ourselves based on others by placing a judgment upon them. And it's part of the not wanting to be abandoned or not abandoned, but abandoned and rejected. So what we do is we reject someone else, so we're not the ones rejected. So when we're looking at them and thinking, oh, and we make a snarky comment about, oh, they think they're all better than them. You know, like, people do this. I used to do it. I think we've all done it. So we can't say we're immune to this. So when my father sometimes will get upset about something and he'll talk about someone and I'm like, Dad, why are you talking about them? Why are you giving them your energy? Stop focusing on them. You're better than that. Like, I understand that it's really about him comparing himself and that it's his way of trying to feel more important by comparing and judging the other, but he doesn't realize that's causing pain on himself, because when you place a judgment on another person, you're really doing that harm against yourself. You inflict pain upon yourself when you even make a comment or a judgment, verbally or thought, no matter what. When you think you are judging another, you're placing harm upon yourself. And you may not think you are, but your body will actually reflect it, and you don't even realize it. So if you're somebody who gossips about people, if you're someone who's miserable, feel into your body what that's really about, because are you that person that talks about everybody else to feel better about yourself, and you still don't feel better about yourself? Because that's the part that we don't tune into if you're that type of person. I've been there. Why am I upset? Why am I upset? Why is that person really, like, why am I giving them so much of my energy? What is that trigger really about? Is it really about that person, or is it about the way I feel about myself? Because when you recognize that the aspects about another person are really about the parts in you dislike, that's when you realize, holy crap, it's not the person I'm judging myself. They're just the mirror of me. So when you see someone that, oh, you know, they're just not good enough and they're not doing it right, or you're judging them on your own comparison, because that's all we can ever do. We judge from our level of where we're at. So we're comparing ourselves, and we don't realize that other person is us. So this is one of the Aquarian Sutras, is recognize the other as you. So they're always mirroring back to you some aspect about yourself, whether you like it or not. If you really like talk them up and you're just like, oh my gosh, I really admire that person, that's you too. So when you're seeing something in another person you dislike, you have to really own that and go, oh my gosh. Have compassion for yourself first. Because anytime you're judging another, you're judging yourself. You're breaking your own heart, as I say. So in the dream, I was upset with my father because he was doing this, and I was upset and screaming, why do you create so much pain for yourself? Why do you do that? And I really see that my father is like, we say the father figure is a very important role in our lives, because in a lot of ways, that's the authoritarian in our lives. A lot of times, that's the outer world, the patriarch, humanity, the collective, as well as the mother too. But this is the one that, you know, I work on the most, because my father is still alive, and I hate to see him struggle. I hate to see him upset. And I want him to understand his worth. And I know his sadness. I know his heart, because I'm his child. I am a part of him, and he's a part of me. So when we see our parents and things really rub us and upset us about them, it's only because we care. If we didn't care, we wouldn't get upset. Anger is low on the vibration, the scales of consciousness, but yet it is the one that motivates us the most. That when you get angry about something, that is when you're at that pivotal crossroads. You're either going to get motivated by the anger because you're really like charged up and inspired, Or you're irritated and out of fear, you're just gonna move through it like a powerhouse. If, anger is a very powerful motivator. So a lot of times people are motivated by anger in the sense of being, like fighting for the underdog, finding ways to take care of those who can't take care of themselves. And often it's because they themselves didn't have someone to speak up or to defend them at certain points in their life. So you can always see your patterns if you look over the course of your life and you recognize the stories that you have lived, but not to get so caught up that they rule over you. The more we're in awareness of our unconscious and conscious thoughts and beliefs and our patterns, the more we can master our lives. So again, it always will come back to the breath, becoming present to the essence of our presence, because that is the gift of the life of being in the now, in the moment, and recognizing when your body is feeling something, pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to what's going on around you, because they use kinesiology for truth. Have you ever done that where you put your arm out and the person just, they say something and you get strong or you get weak? That's true or false. You can do it for yourself. You can test yourself. You can even use a pendulum. You can use a necklace. Just, what's my yes, what's my no? And then test it with your name. Let's do that. So, I like to use this necklace. I don't talk about pendulum and dowsing or, this is basically, here's why a pendulum works. Because it is an extension of your body. So when you use a pendulum, and ideally it would be nice if you have your elbow on a table, but if you can hold it straight and have it straight down, it's nice if it has a point on the tip. Now, show me my yes. And I like to place my hand underneath. Show me my yes. So mine does a circle to the left. Yours could be an up and down or left and right. You need to know what yours is. Show me my no. My no is a straight up and down. Show me my maybe. And it goes in the circle in the opposite direction of the yes. So, I like to start out with my name is Lana Labonte. And it shows me my yes. I'm not even moving my hand. You can see that. My spiritual name is Sundari Kirinkar. My name is 7. Obviously, it's not 7. So, do we want to ask a question for the collective? What does humanity need to know in this moment now? I guess that's a yes, it wants to ask a question. So, humanity is stronger than it realizes. We have the power in numbers. And of course, that's a yes. Will humanity come together to heal the collective consciousness? I'm not only seeing a yes, but I'm feeling that energy in my hand because it's a really powerful, strong response. How soon will humanity come together? In the next month? Wow, this could be good. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. I have no control over whether this is true or if it shifts. I would love to ask another question, but I don't have anybody on here at the moment to ask a question for me to pendulum. So we just had a new moon eclipse last week, And the energy, again, it's illuminating the collective consciousness. And it really is about people stuff coming to surface. And so today I noticed, in addition to the dream that I had with my father, was that ultimately be very sensitive to your own inner anger and your frustration. And if you feel like your nervous system is really fried, to just be present, be grounded, like set the intention first thing in the morning to ground your physical body, to be present to whatever is showing up to you, and to be mindful, to be in awareness, because it's very easily to get set off. It's easy to set others off because there's a tenderness in the collective right now. And the reason the tenderness is there is because wounds are on the surface. People are feeling like their shame and their stuff is being seen, and they don't consciously realize this. And the reason I say this is because, again, eclipses are going to eclipse out the light and place the light on the shadow. So it's like a flipping. All your good stuff might not be standing out, but all you're like, ooh, I don't like people seeing that part of me, is what's being illuminated. But you don't realize that people can't see it. It's for you to see. We're not here to judge one another. We're here to work on our stuff together and to support one another through that. So sometimes you're going to find that what is rubbing you is going to rub someone else, and that we are all collectively, like, nudging each other into awakening into our personal power. Like, this is a collective collaboration. So as we come together, we're illuminating each other's weaknesses and our strengths, because maybe you're unaware of your own strengths too. But in order to know your strengths, you have to be able to embrace your weaknesses as well. So the more that you're willing to, I'm not so crazy about that, but I'm willing to sit with it. If I own it, it won't own me, because that's what addiction is all about. That's why when we're blindly living life out of habit, routine, not paying attention, not focusing inwardly, and we're going outside of ourselves, we're going without, what we don't realize is we're downplaying our strengths, and the weaknesses are what are our crutches. And so therefore, that's where addiction can end up ruling over someone's life, because of the weakness. That's really the weakness running it, not the strength. The strength is in owning the weakness and strengthening yourself around it, so that you can hold that weakness like love, like as your inner child needs you to reparent, to be present and say, I'm here for you, I see you, you're not alone. As you reparent your inner child, just like that weakness, you embrace it and you strengthen it by holding on to that and recognizing, wow, there is strength in that too. But until you embrace that, it will rule over you. It's just a small little glimmer into the things that are coming up right now. So, tenderness, be gentle, be compassionate with yourself first. And then when someone shows up to you, also recognize they're showing up as those aspects of you too. The more we're willing to focus on our stuff, it'll be easier to hold others as well. But when we are not in tune with ourselves, we tune out, and then we end up freaking out and lashing out at others. So it takes a lot of being present with what is, and not freaking out and attacking what we want to be. So instead of doing the same thing you've always done, like avoiding, rejecting, and denying the presence of these aspects, why not allow it to be present for you? And you be present for it, because therein lies the gift. And that's really the message I got from this past new moon eclipse. And for me, I've spent this past year like really sitting in loneliness and dispositive, this like tension, and I don't like this feeling and the muck, and I've really had to sit with like some junk. I don't like being alone. Why is that? Oh, does that mean I'm codependent? Does that mean I rely upon others to to make me feel something? Or can I sit in my so-called loneliness and despair and recognize I'm not even alone? My favorite thing to do is mirror therapy. Is I will look in the mirror and just be like, you're choosing to feel this. And you know that when you're ready, you can choose to feel some other way. Because that's the beauty of the human being, is you can be whatever you want to be and choose to feel whatever you choose to feel. Nothing is being forced upon you. It's how we show up to the situation that makes all the difference. So if someone shows up to you a certain way, they don't do anything to you. It's how you respond. If they poke and provoke you, you get triggered or charged, that's just showing you your old wounds. And they're just serving as a catalyst. They're there to serve you. And sometimes it's a gift without a bow, and it's a mirror designed for you to grow. That's what life is about. We are here to perfect our awareness, connect our mind, body, soul connection so we can level up, so that we can take it to the next level. I'm not perfect. I have my stories. I have my hang-ups, my resistances. But I'm willing to try, and I'm courageous. I'm willing to give my heart and show up for it all. Because I feel that's what life is about. It's either all in or why bother? Why have one foot in and one foot out if you're not willing to go all in? What are you really trying to control? What are you so afraid of? Because whenever someone's trying to control something or someone, it's because they're acting from a place of fear. They're acting out of fear, not coming from love. Love is freedom. Love is unrestricted. It's liberated. It's expansive. Fear is constrictive. It's imprisonment. It's powerless. It gives the appearance, because fear will try to be very attacking, accusatory. Just be in awareness. That's all that matters. And when you can come into the breath awareness, it'll always bring you back to the gift of the present. And then it'll also bring you into awareness of your own mind, the mindfulness. Are you full? Are you mindful? Is your mind full, or are you full of your mind? And therefore, when you start to tap into your mind and you tap into your body, because then you're like, wait a minute, I was just thinking this and I got a pain in here, and I got a sensation in my belly. Oh, my heart sunk because I had this one thought. And the more you tune into that, you tap into your body's wisdom, because you recognize, wow, my mind and my body. Whoa, I had a thought and my body responded to the thought. You don't need kinesiology once you tap into that. Because then you start to notice, oh, I don't want to believe that, or I need to change that because my body didn't align to it. My body just told on my mind. That's some powerful, that's how you step into your power, people. That's how you step into your power. So I've honestly been working with a very angry shoulder, and it is something that rears its ugly head at me, because this is a masculine, and it originates up in my neck and right up in my occipital, and it comes from my jaw. So I went to my chiropractor yesterday, and he's amazing. He did a lot of testing. I know I got it out of whack because I'm trying to get back into my physical game, get back into my gym rat stance. trying to get real limber. And I have like you see my elbow does that thing because I have hyper extension in my elbows, right? But I also have had a shoulder injury many years ago. And so I try to work on my scapulas, my shoulder blades. Really, when I teach from my body awareness that when we roll the shoulders back and squeeze them together, we open up the heart more. And the alignment of the shoulders will hold your arms up better than you trying to hold the arms up with your shoulders rounded, because really this is not proper body alignment. It's roll those shoulders, let them glide down the back, and that holds the arms up. So, but the thing is I have this impingement thing going on, and it comes all around the sides of my ribs. It's in between my shoulder blades, into my scapula, into my thoracic, and in right behind the very far back of my heart, which I, for myself, have tapped into. This is a deep heart grief and pain that has been lingering with me for a very long time. So yes, I know I am working through something because it started itself last week, right around the time of the eclipse. And when you tune into your body's wisdom, you don't try to beat yourself up about things. You just work with it. Like, lean into that. Sit with the stories. Sit with what is this trying to tell me about myself right now? And what can I do to relieve myself of this control? Because this is, for me, a lot of me trying to do everything. A lot of my always taking initiative, being the first, taking care of people. Like, I take on and I shoulder a lot of responsibility. Sometimes I overextend myself. I overdo for others, and then there's no reciprocity. And so that has been a theme for me this past year, and it has been about me turning back to how can I maintain my personal life and work more toward what I need. So that's just sharing something I've been going through. And it really boils down to, we all have to know what's right for us, not living in obligation. Because here's one of the other themes that's going on in the collective. How many of you out there have been living your life out of obligation to others? Living the story that you were told, living out what you think others expect of you, as opposed to being authentic. Because when we're not in our authenticity, we're living at the whims and the expectations of others. Again, that's harm against ourselves. We can try to play the martyr, but that is not in our best interest. So we need to come back to our integrity, our authenticity, and align to our mind, body, soul, and really like tap into what is our truth, our Satnam, our true identity. Because it's real easy to mimic and copy what's going on around us. But that's where dis-ease comes in, and that's where the body will tell you every time, that is not who you are. Who you are is your essence and the presence within you. And nobody can tell you who that is and what that looks like. That's for you to find out. That's for me to find out for myself. And that's the beauty and the blessing of this life, is to live in our truth. So what is coming up for you? If you like these videos, if you have any suggestions, any type of videos you want me to do in the future, let me know in the comments. Share with me what you're going through. Let's have a dialogue. Let's open this up for healing. What is it that you're working through in these times? And if there's any way I can serve you, just let me know. Click the subscribe button. Click the little bell for notifications so you know when I'm going live. And if you enjoy these videos, give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing evening. I love you. You are worthy, and you deserve to live in joy and abundance and happiness. So have an amazing evening. Sweet dreams. Lots of love.